Ugh, God, do I need a haircut? Hey guys, we saw the Meg.
Haha, we did.
We saw it. You know that movie where you were like, hey, I want to see some fun, stupid, giant shark action and R-rated material. Nope. I'm going to make this review super short for you right now. It is a PG-13, almost bloodless non-feast of a lot of boredom. The way I feel now is how I felt when I was watching it. I kind of want to do one of those red letter media videos where we just upload a black screen for a half hour. Yeah, Jay.
Yes?
What did you think about the Meg?
Well, Mike, you thought it was flat. I don't know. I was unmoved by much of anything, and I was bummed out because I saw the trailer and I was like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but at least maybe it looks like it could be attempting to be fun and silly, and it's not really that silly intentionally, and it's not really that silly unintentionally either. It's just kind of stuff happens and it's a bit of a mess, and the cast is fine.
No.
If you've ever wanted to see Jason
cast is
Statham get in a
whatever.
little submarine, this is your movie.
I kept watching it going, why did they cast Jason Statham?
Yeah.
He doesn't have tough guy lines.
He can't
He
physically
can't
fight the shark.
He can't fight the shark.
Like, they even say that if you're living through an actual shark encounter, one way to deflect them is to bop them on the nose. And I thought maybe they'll be silly and at least go for that, but no.
Especially because of the fact that a lot of how they work to take on the shark is how they would go about taking on a regular shark in the movie.
They get in little submarines and,
They
you know,
get
they
in a
harpoon
little,
stuff.
they get in a
and
little of this
they
the cage
track
and
it,
underwater. Yeah,
you know?
it's like what you do to take down a regular shark. Yeah, this movie is not something where we felt the need to write any notes because we feel nothing for this movie. Normally when we do a review, we try to be as concise and articulate as possible. All we're gonna do is express to you how meh this film was.
This is another one of those 50, I think it's got a 51 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I really think it fits that mold because for me it's kind of a flat, like a straight line mouth.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people say it's pretty fun, and I've heard other people say it's pretty flat.
Is
and
it? I don't think so.
I don't think so too,
It's
but
I don't even think it's fun.
but you might.
It could have been so bad it's good, but it doesn't even earn that.
not that bad.
Here's what it really felt like to me. This is based on a novel that apparently people really like. Apparently it's a good novel.
Or at least a popular.
I'm watching a movie. As I was watching, I was going, it feels like they shot one movie where they tried making an actual good movie. And then they did reshoots and edits. We're like, well, maybe we can make this into so bad it's good. But it doesn't commit enough to its seriousness to the point where you can take it seriously. And it doesn't commit enough to its schlock and campiness to the point where you walk out feeling like it's a fun time. It doesn't reach the heights of Deep Blue Sea or Sharknado. Both movies that were mentioned on the Movie Fights episode I did recently, where the first question was on that episode,
Besides the original Jaws, which is a pretty good movie, what's the all-time greatest shark movie?
go check that out. Yeah, I just don't think that this film is worth watching, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't really know who this would be for unless you're a fan of like the Sci-Fi Channel. It will play so much better on a TV.
I bet.
Which is weird because you see this and it's the fucking Megalodon. So you assume this would play great at least on a big screen. You know what
Like-
part got the biggest laugh? When someone farted in the theater. And I was so bored. I was so bored. I didn't even laugh at that. When everyone was laughing, I was just like, whatever. I'm just kind of sad now.
Yeah, it just felt like a bit of a hodgepodge.
It kind of meanders.
The plot feels really random.
Yeah, I don't hate this movie.
I don't either.
I just don't feel anything for
I
it.
feel nothing.
While what was going on in the movie before the Meg showed up, I turned to you and I said, Where's the Megalodon?
Yeah?
Because there's too much other stuff that has no emotion in here that I could care less about. Can we just get to the Megalodon and get to some shark thrills? And the shark thrills are not that thrilling.
I've done Google image searches of just the word megalodon. And the first row of things is usually a lot more jarring and unsettling than most anything that I saw in this movie.
Yeah.
It's this terrifying idea, a shark that big.
If you look up this movie, Jason Statham for sure thought he was signing up for an R-rated flick.
Yeah.
And I've read a whole interview with him on Collider where it just seemed like he didn't realize this is going to be PG-13 and is not happy with this film. If you committed to strong language, vulgarity, hard R violence, it would have made up for so much. Instead, you just kind of got a whatever film when you're dealing with a megalodon.
Yeah, none of the characters are strong enough that you can just care about that journey on its own, and then the Meg isn't used enough to really be that scary or thrilling. There's a lot of really wacky logic in the movie. Ultimately, it feels like kind of a waste of what could have been a really fun time. Like, I don't know, there are a couple jokes here and there. And that's about it for, like, the fun factor of this movie.
There was one moment in the film where Rainn Wilson made one comment that made the whole theater laugh, including me. And I thought, oh, this is when the film's gonna finally really commit to the schlockiness, the campiness, and then we're gonna have a good time. Sure, it's been like 45 minutes, but whatever. The rest of the film can be this way. I'm cool. But no, you kind of get a lot of boring characters, scenes, and it really is just drags.
Everything is stock. You kind of understand all the characters are taken from the playbook. Most of the motivations and plot lines are taken out of the playbook. It doesn't really do anything of its own very much. And that Rainn Wilson moment was like one of a handful throughout the entire movie where all the elements on screen coalesced to make me feel like I was truly watching a movie. And the rest of the time, I felt like I was waiting for a movie to kick in.
And Jason Statham, too, this is that movie that would have worked better with The Rock in the lead. In some ways, because there's a certain type of energy and charisma that would match a movie more like The Meg, kind of like how The Rock matches more for Rampage. Jason Statham's like delivery in this film, he seems like he's really trying to do a good job, and technically he's doing all right. Actually, he's Jason Statham, and my introduction to Jason Statham was films like Snatch and Lock, Stock, where I knew him as an actor before an action lead, so I know the guy can really act. But I'm like, this type of everyone's acting should be more campy to try to, like, this should have just committed to, that's what I mean, it seemed like they tried making a good movie, then through editing and reshoots, they're like, no, we gotta try to make this a schlocky, campy film, but it doesn't really commit to either side, so instead you kind of got, a whatever film.
Yeah, you get this movie that doesn't ultimately come up with a tone at all. It just feels like a bunch of scenes that all kind of flow at the same pace.
Yeah.
And occasionally there's a joke,
And a big reason why I think this movie has moments that are unintentionally bad and then some that are intentionally bad, a lot of it hinges on the opening of this movie, which is so fucking serious.
It's like a monster movie.
It's like so serious. And honestly, I wasn't even sure what was happening in the opening.
Some
like
kind
the
of
way
rescue.
Okay, you got Jason Statham here, who's clearly trying to give a more serious performance. You got Cliff Curtis in here, who's a great dramatic actor. Ruby Rose, who's not known for campy, schlocky comedy. And by the way, she's hot as hell, Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose is like so hot.
Yes, she is, although whatever was going on with her hairdo distracted me like half the movie.
Why?
She's got that like cool person, hair in your eyes, like wet look, and I'm like, you're sitting at a computer for half the time. Like, why do you look like you just got out of a fight?
She's Ruby Rose.
She's Ruby Rose. No, like, it's not a big
hot.
deal. I'm just saying, like, I kept being like, what's up with you? You had a couple other fun-ish supporting characters who would have been fun in a movie that knew how to have fun.
Don't worry, guys. We're not overthinking it. We were just telling you we were pretty bored. Is what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, again, this has like an all-wheat on Rotten Tomatoes, so I can fully see some people coming out of this being like, I don't know what you're talking about. I had a good time, but I just didn't have that time.
We didn't go on 40X, but I imagine if you go on 40X, you'll probably have a good time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these movies are always fascinating to me because I rarely walk out of a movie unmoved at all.
Yeah.
And I also know that with a movie like this, it makes me curious for what somebody else might see in it because I have just seen other opinions of people who had a time. I wish I had any kind of time.
I don't know, man. It was boring.
Yeah, it was a bit underwhelming. Cool shark, though.
Was it?
Sort of. A lot of Asian actors, though. So
Oh, you gotta get that Chinese money in
for
there, right? Yeah.
There's some Thailand stuff in there too, acknowledging a different Asian nation.
Anytime a movie goes to China now, I'm just like, sometimes it's justified well, and other times I'm like, you're just trying to get that Chinese market, aren't you?
After the prologue of the movie wraps up, you doing this big old shot over the water, coming in on Shanghai, and I was like, oh, here's why they thought this movie would make money.
I think this review's done.
I think this review is mostly done. I don't know. Now we're just looking for things to talk about. Jeremy Johns is right, though. All that beach stuff with all those people in the water, that doesn't happen until like the very end of the movie. So if you're going for that kind of stuff, you're going to wait around a while.
If there's any trailer moments that really stood out to you that looked appealing, that like, oh, that moment has to at least be fun and yada yada yada. The thing though is, a lot of the fun of that would probably work better if you skip to those scenes. There's such a meandering journey to get to those fun moments in the trailer that when you get there, they just don't feel as fun because it kind of felt like a slugfest to get there.
Yeah. Dog moment's good though. Bloodiest scene in the entire movie.
Oh,
like,
dude.
right there.
They
so much visceral.
John Wick that dog.
Yeah, like ×5. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the dog comes back at the end like as a zombie and fights the shark. It's perfect.
Don't spoil the
like
movie.
Zombie 2.
Don't spoil the movie.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it, guys.
The dog's hashtag save Pippin.
Save Pippin, yeah. There were 4 people wearing Save Pippin t-shirts in the row in front of us.
Oh, God, talking about it's making me want to go to bed. What you got to do is subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell. All our movie reviews are done this way. Check us out on Patreon. Full-length TV show reactions, weekly Q&As, Jason Statham biceps. Bye.